Hey guys, and welcome to game number 84 out of 100 of the Mack vs. Machine series, where I'll be playing 100 games of Scrabble against the top online bot, HastyBot. We're coming off of an insane victory in game number 83 that clinched the series. We're now at 50.5 wins. I won't spoil anything about game 83 other than that it was insane for folks who haven't already watched that, so definitely go have a look at that game if you haven't seen it already. But as I've mentioned, we will be continuing with the series, even though I've already clinched victory, and hopefully we can continue racking up some wins. And without further ado, let's jump into game number 84. We're going to be first this game. Not the best opening rack. Little bit constant heavy, duplicate T's. Going to play motif here, score 28 points, shed one of those T's. DT is a pretty solid leave, so not too bad. He plays moving, which does not take an S, I believe. I think this has come up before in one of my games recently, and I messed this up. I don't believe moving takes an S. So that's obviously a very important hook or lack thereof, because if it were to take an S, then a double-double play could be an absolutely massive score along the K column right here. So important to be confident of those S hooks, especially INGS words come up quite often, and I'm nearly positive that movings is no good. So I am going to play Diluter, and hopefully he can't hit me on the top triple word too hard here. But that appears to be my only playable bingo, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, he bingos with Helload to the D. And let's see, I have a J spot over here. Can't do much with it, though. Same thing with the J spot here. I need an A for Haj. This feels like the type of rack where I should be able to score a decent number of points. I guess I could always just play Joel. 38 points, DEHI is a pretty good leave. So that is very likely what I'm going to end up playing. I don't think I have much here. G is not particularly strong. Ejido? Could play that here. Scores 32 points. But Joel just seems like a better play. I'm not really dying to put an E in the triple lane like that. Of course, putting a J could give him back plays, but it's actually sometimes not that easy to get a 5 starting with a J, depending on what he has. And again, the worst case scenario there, it's extremely unlikely he's going to have a triple, and it's the type of thing, if he plays Verjuice for 230, then you kind of just got to shrug it off and say the freak thing happened, and you know, that's part of the game. I think I got to take the risk here and play Joel. It's extremely unlikely. Of course, he's going to triple, and the worst case scenario, if he doesn't, is probably a 40-point play, which isn't too bad. And he doesn't even hit the J. So yeah, as I was mentioning, depending on what you have, sometimes it can be surprisingly annoying to play from a J. And here, I actually have phonied, but I don't think I can play it. I could make a phony hook. So I could phony with phonied. I could play like civvied or something so that I can say I've phonied with phonied. Of course, I'm not actually going to do that because I'm playing a computer and the computer is going to know that it's not good. But that is a shame that I actually have phonied and it doesn't play. Do I have any valid bingos, though? Like an 8 or anything like that? I don't think so. Maybe through this L or this U? Dolphin. No, it's not a bingo. I mean, worst comes to worst, I can just play joined. 42 points keeping PH is a pretty decent outcome. PH is a very good leave for scoring. I doubt I'm going to do better. Double through this L maybe as a non-bingo. Dolphin, pinhole. Don't see much else. Neither of those hit both doubles. If I have anything here, I guess there's deep, but that scores way less than joined. Keeps the worst leave. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything better than joined. I don't think I have a better play from this J or through this J. Yeah, I think joined, keeping PH. It scores 42 points. We'll have to watch out for extensions like conjoined. And I believe subjoined is good as well, so we'll have to watch out for those later on in the game. But yeah, for now this looks like a good play. Okay, refiling comes down from the bot, and we have Sharpen, which will play with civvies. Is that the only place? Don't like refilings. Revilings is good. And it's worth noting, this does confirm my suspicion that movings is not good, because with the blank being the first die, he would have definitely played fingers and movings for, would have been, I think, over 110 points if it were valid, so we now have confirmation that movings is indeed not valid, as I was pretty confident of before. I don't think I have anything other than sharpen that plays. I'm very hesitant to do this because the S-hook is obviously really dangerous, being on a double word, and this spot on the bottom, making an overlap with an X especially, or maybe an H, could be very dangerous. So I want to just make sure there's nothing through this G, right? Like Graphins, no. Heparins, Seraphin, Panthers doesn't fit. I think through this E, no. Through this M, I don't think so. Yeah, I think sharpen is the only bingo. There's nothing through this U either, so gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, that's actually not that bad an outcome. He does hit the S, but he only scores 42 points since he only had 1-pointers. So, actually not too bad. Pretty much a tie game here. He's up 5. Slightly Val-heavy draw. I imagine Okier is the play. Here, is that, see, that's 35. If I play here, that's 34, and also gives back a much more dangerous spot, putting the A next to the triple letter bonus square. So Okier here looks good. 35 points, sheds my vowels, blocks that spot. It's actually now a fairly consonant-heavy pool, 25 consonants, 12 vowels, so I kind of like the idea of keeping an E. I don't think I have any higher scoring plays with OK. No, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, Okier is probably fine here. I'm going to go ahead and play it. Alright, he drops AY. We pull some more vowels. So yeah, definitely we're going to want to watch out for this pull imbalance later in the game. Could prove very useful for us to take advantage of. It's now down to 8 vowels and 21 consonants. Kind of a clunky draw for us, but we do have some high pointers, so hopefully I can at least score some points. Maybe here? Don't see anything great. Web is pretty uninspiring. It's only 23 points. Do I have maybe... I could play Q. 31. BEIO is not a great leave, but again, with the pool as constant heavy as it is, it's actually not bad. Just because I'm pretty unlikely to draw more than one more vowel on a 3-tile pool. And again, if I somehow do, then that might not even be a bad thing, because I'll be quickly depriving him of any vowels to work with. Another interesting idea that I think I maybe like a little better is Beweep. Just because it scores the same. IO versus IOEB is fairly comparable, probably, but the key is I take out this E, which is a very important tile for him to work with, since, as I've been saying, the pool is extremely constant heavy, so a floating E here right before a double letter score and also in a double word score line is a prime spot for him to both score points and unload troublesome consonants. So I really like Beweep here. Scoring points, keeping IO, which is normally not a great leave, but with this pool, very good leave. So let's do that. Okay, he plays Ha, and as expected, we pull all consonants. So we have Visor SY. Do I? Okay. I have some ideas here, because if I can get the Z this way, like I'd love to play Zori. Oh, I have a really, really sneaky idea, guys. I'm going to play Vi for 6. Because I'm now threatening Zori for 70 on my next turn. And he might block. I mean, if he, I guess he might drop a tile here. See, it's interesting. Like, against a human, I'm not actually sure I would do this, because it's pretty easy to tell what I'm up to. Obviously, there's plenty of places on the board like Vig for 14 where I can play the same tiles for more points. So a human would probably be able to sniff out what I'm doing here. But I'm not sure the bot is going to realize that. And unless it just happens that the bot's best play is to drop a tile here, then I'm probably going to just get Zori for 70 next turn and probably win this game easily. And if somehow the bot drops a tile here, I mean, it'll be scoring like 20 points. It's not that bad an outcome. I do still get rid of my V. Yeah, it's a pretty devilish plan. I could also do something more standard, just play Ivy or something like that. I don't want to play Ivory over here, get rid of both of my vowels. But you know what? I'm going to play Vi. Hopefully he doesn't block it. Alright, so he plays Cot over there, and he does take a lead for now. But now I'm going to play Zori for 71. And he bingos! Okay, wow. Not over yet, guys. So, we're down 18. I'm feeling decent about our position, though, because we've got a very nice rack. And the pool is, needless to say, pretty ugly. However, XU right here could come down for 52 points next to Unsonate. So, I feel like I should be able to win this, but it's gonna require some care. Like, I don't really think I can afford to play something like Yodel. Well, maybe I can, because am I always going out? If I'm always going out, I may have enough to just beat XU every time. I could also play Beatty here, which blocks XU. That's probably better. But let's see, do I go out with whatever I draw? I probably do. Let's see, D? Yeah, I'll have... Because, yeah, if I have a 4 ending in an S, I can play here. So, yeah, I'll have dulls and 2 spots. G gives me logs and blogs. S gives me loss, and there's got to be something else with an S, right? I mean, even if there's not, then what's he going to do without an S? Oh, slobs. Yeah, slobs. T gives me bolts and lots. U gives me soul and... oh, bolus. Okay. W gives me blows and lows. Yeah, the X wouldn't give me an out, but, I mean, there's no way... If I draw the X, right, I mean, there's just no way that he can score enough with D, G, U, U, W on his rack. I mean, I can't imagine. I guess I have to be a little careful, because he could play Wood. Hey, you know something? What if... Okay, if I draw the X, if he plays Wood next to the E in Unsonate, so that's 28. So 39, 28 plus 11. I'm up 7. And he's going out on the top right. Yeah, because he's going to have Guts and Stung. So does XIS score enough for me? What did I say? I'm down 7. XIS would be 26. That puts me up 19 with 4 left on my rack. So he'd need 15. Guts scores 12. I think I still win by 3 if I'm doing this right and not missing anything. I think. I feel pretty confident I did that right. So, okay, 39. So 426, 435. I'm up 21. If I don't draw the X, I go out and I just win because he can't score nearly enough with the X without having that XU spot. So that's easy. If he has the X, I just go out and win. If I draw the X, so I'm up 21, he's going to play Wood, keeping Guts or Gust or Tugs on the top right. So he's going to play Wood for 28. He goes up 7. I have LXOS. I play XIS through the I in Unsonate. That's 26. He was up 7. I go up 19. I have 4 points left on my rack from LO once that gets doubled, so he needs 15 to go out on that board to tie. And that's not going to happen because his best out, I'm pretty sure, would be Guts or Gust or Tugs making... Oh, wait, he has Gust here, though. Okay, so he has Gust here. That's 10, 14. So I'd win by 1? I'd win by 1. If I'm doing that correct. I think that's right. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's right. I think I win by 1 if I draw the X. Oh, I didn't draw the X. Okay. Yeah, so it's not going to quite come down to that. But, yeah. So, okay, now I think I just go out with Soul, right? Yeah, it's probably my best out. Not seeing anything better. And then I'll just put this into Quackle to confirm I did that math right in the end, but I feel pretty confident about it. So, okay. 463 to 441. Very good game. Very interesting game. Glad to come away with the win here. Definitely want to look at some of these turns. I want to start by looking at that endgame, and let's confirm that I'm right, that BD does win if I pull the X. So 1 second, guys. I'm going to just pull this up in Quackle. Okie dokie. So we were looking at BD over here. So yeah, instead of X, if he had the G, I think he loses. I think. Let's see. Yep. Wood is going to lose by 1, right? 20 valuation, that gets him to 434. So yeah, Wood and then XIS, I assume for me, correct? Yep, XIS, only win. And then his best play is Gust for 14, winning by 1 for me as I calculated. So that is very good to know. BD does indeed win 100% of the time. Let me just confirm that with Champ, but I mean, I have 2 outs whenever I don't draw the X, so I think I just win, right, every other time. I feel quite confident about that because I've blocked his big XU spot. So unless I'm missing something, this should just win. Yeah. Oh, Diable. Jeez, I didn't even see Diable. Yeah, I mean, I should probably just play Diable. That's even simpler because now I, even if I draw the X, I think I just go out. Well, maybe I don't actually go out with the X because I don't know where Sox plays. But I still just have XIS, and it's even more straightforward to win after Diable. So that would have netted me a couple more spread points. It looks like if I had pulled if I had played Diable. So slight little mistake there, but yeah, BD is fine. It gets the job done 100% of the time, which is what's most important. So that's it for Quackle for now. Let's go back to Woogles and go back to the beginning of this game and see what else there is we can learn. So, okay, Motif, clearly the best play on this opening rack. Moving looks pretty good for the bot. Kind of clunky rack with the V and the G. He sheds both of them, scores pretty well. Knowing this doesn't take an S, it's not dangerous at all. So that looks fine. Vlog would have been very reasonable too, as EMN is a very strong leave. So either of those perfectly fine. Diluter only bingo for me. Wow, Haloa only bingo for the bot. A little bit surprising. But I guess the 2 L's and the O and the U make it a little bit difficult. So let's see, Joel here, Hyde. Oh, Hyde here is another option. Actually, I wonder if that's better. Keeps the J. It would just have a lot of upside given these 2 spots. If I could draw like Taj or Raj, you could make an argument for keeping the J. I generally don't like keeping the J, and the one nice thing about Joel is it does save Hyde for next turn, right? If he were to block the J. So I think playing Joel is still fine, but I probably should have at least considered saving the J. Yeah, very tough draw for the bot, but he does have this nice play of Civi, which sheds his triplicate I's as well as one of his duplicate E's, and actually scores 29 points in the process. Yeah, here, so I think I missed that spot again. I was just kind of blind to it. I think I saw the spot for the H, I just didn't register that I could make a 4. Probably here I should play joined anyway, just because it takes out that J spot, and I kind of like HP better than EOP. It's so much better for scoring. It's so much firepower if you can use those PH tiles together for high scoring play. So I think joined is perfectly fine here, but I seem to just have had a little bit of blindness to that spot. Refiling by the bot, sharpen only bingo for me, so that's pretty much forced. Fortunate for me that he had an S, but only 1 pointers that didn't really go well together with it. Drat, I missed Raki over here. Yeah, that's definitely a miss, because, yeah, with this pool, keeping IO is not even that much worse than keeping an E, and I do score 8 more points. It's funny, I looked for plays making okay, but I just couldn't come up with Raki. I think I got kind of fixated on using my eye, so that's not like a massive mistake, but it's definitely a sizable mistake. 8 more points and comparable leave, given this pool, so That's a substantial miss. He plays A, and let's see. Oh, Pewitt. I didn't. That's clever. I saw Pew, but I didn't come up with Pewitt over here, or Pewitt for that matter, which are a little bit better than Pew. I still think Beweep is a good play, just because it does take out that E, which is by far his, again, it's his best place to score while unloading a lot of consonants, and with a pool that's 8 vowels and 21 consonants, it's pretty likely he's going to want to play off a bunch of consonants at the same time. So I think given I have a lot of vowels and he most likely does not, it still makes sense to play Beweep. I should have at least seen the plays to the IT, but I think Beweep is still a very reasonable play. And again, IO is a perfectly good leave with this pool given how vowel deprived it is. So interesting to see the bot continuing to hold on to the Q. I guess it's fine because you're guaranteed to have a spot for Cot for 26 or 27 points next turn. Normally, I think holding on to the Q would be terrible when you can get rid of it, but given he has 2 spots, I don't hate it, and there are still 2 U's unseen, so it's reasonable to hope maybe you could pull something better with a U. At the same time, on this board, I don't really think a U is going to even help that much. You probably need an E also for Quate or something like that. So I would personally just shed the Q right away with something like Cot. Even on his past turn, I guess he could have done that when he played A. Here, see, I don't mind A as much just because that does score a lot more points. That's 35. It also stops me from dropping 2 tiles there for an easy 35. So A I like, but I think at this point, instead of scoring 31 for Ha, which is only a few more than shedding the Q, I would shed the Q and save the H for the next turn, personally. But okay. So yeah, my play of Vi here, clearly not going to come up on Static as it only scores 6 points. Ivory, which I saw, is the best play, but that's really, that would be really bad management of the pool because I keep 2 consonants in a very consonant-heavy pool, and I also expose 2 vowels for him to work with. So not the type of play you want to be making in this position. Ivy, also not a good play. 3 T's unseen for Tivy, and I have none of them, so very risky. Sizey, definitely don't want to shed both the S and the Z here. So yeah, I think Vi is a good play, especially against a bot that's probably not going to sniff out what I'm doing. Do I do this against a human? That's the question. Maybe. I mean, again, it's very suspicious looking because I could just play Vig to this G for 14. A strong alert player is going to realize that and think I'm up to some sort of shenanigans down here and probably be able to look at the pool and figure out that almost certainly setting up Zori or something similar. So it's reasonable that they would realize that, and it's not that hard to block, right? They could just drop a B here for 20 points, making Bit and Bow. They could play above this M. But I think even so, it's not bad. You know, you force them to kind of waste a turn just dropping 1 tile. I still manage to shed my V. I keep a really strong lead with the Z and the Y. So I don't even think against the human it's actually a terrible play. I might have been more inclined to play something like Ivy, not here, but here against the human. It's a much more standard play. Like, this would be the standard best play, I think, in this position. And by standard, I just mean, like, you know, without taking a big risk or trying to sacrifice a ton of points or equity to do something unconventional. But I think definitely against the computer, Vi is the right play. Even against the human, I think it's a reasonable play, though. Now the bot finally sheds the Q. Zori, of course, comes down, Unsonate. And yeah, this was a miss here. Diable, much better play. Would have been a much less stressful pre-endgame to calculate. That being said, I did still do a good job calculating that BD would win 100% of the time. Once again, the idea here, as we went over before, if I draw any tile other than the X, I'm going to have 2 outplays, and I stop his big play of XU next to Unsonate, covering the triple order score both ways for 52, so he's not going to have a big X play, and if I play BD and then go out next turn, I easily win the game. And if I do draw the X, that's when I had to be a little bit careful because of his sequence of Wood next to Unsonate followed by Gust. However, I was able to calculate that even if that happens, I could then play the X for 26 points and I would hold on to win by a point. So BD is a fine play. It does win 100% of the time, which is what's most important. But Diable would have been a little bit cleaner, but again, just glad I was able to calculate precisely that BD would win, and that one situation didn't come to pass, as it turns out. He just plays XED, having drawn the X, and I go out with Soul, and take this game by a score of 463 to 441. So, a very interesting game overall. Not particularly precise on my part, unfortunately. I think Okier was a clear mistake. Riki would have been far better. That was probably my biggest mistake of the game. The Weep, I still think was fine. It was questionable. I think Joel was questionable over Hyde. Okier was probably my only clear mistake. I mean, besides playing Diable instead of Beatty, which would have made things a little bit more comfortable. I'm not going to really call that a mistake, though, because Beatty does still win 100%, and I did calculate that precisely, so I'm still happy about that. Okier was the biggest miss of the game. I really should have seen Riki, so a little sloppy there, but got away with it and pulled out a nice victory in the end. So yeah, there you have it, guys. That's it for this one. We are now up to 51.5 wins in the series, so we've got 16 more games to go. If I can win 9 of the next 16, I'll pass the 60 win mark, which would be pretty cool. So now that I've, as of the last, the game before this, I clinched victory in the series. So now the next goal will be to try to win 60 if I can. We'll see. But either way, hopefully we'll get some good games to close out this awesome series. So yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon for game number 85. Have a good one, and thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.